Yo, 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 what is up, my fallopian tuber? Cesario Bombardario coming back at you with another video for your butt. And making a video response for Mr. Fisher Bike. Hashtag MFB 1K contest. Alright, Mr. Fisher Bike having his 1,000 sub contest. These are one of those contests that to me is kind of hard. I did my list first, and what he wants you to do is do a lineup using YouTubers. You know, a baseball lineup. I think any other sport too if you want. But using YouTubers for the positions. And I did mine yesterday, and then I was just like, man, other people keep popping up in my head, and I'm just leaving so many people out. So he said that you can add other things like a mascot manager and stuff. So I decided to just do one for every line. Alright, so I could put as many people in as I could. And I'm still going to leave people out, which always kind of sucks. But anyways, I'm going to call my team the Bad Two Bears. Alright? So I decided, you know, I just wrote down all the positions and all the things. And I just said, first person that comes into my head, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it quick. Because this is the kind of stuff that it could take you all day, you know, thinking about it. So I just said, first thing that comes to my head, I'm putting it in for whatever reason. All right, so we're the Bad Two Bears, and we're gonna play in Ricky Russo Stadium. Ricky Russo is like probably the best collection I've ever seen. Rest in peace. He was on YouTube, and so our uniforms, we're also gonna have the patch just like other teams do of number 30 for Joe Ryan Fan 30, another great YouTuber that passed away. All right, so we're going to play at Ricky Russo Stadium, and we're going to be called the Bad Two Bears, and we're going to have a patch of 30 in honor of Joe Ryan Fan 30. All right, but my pitcher is going to be Filmington. And the reason I just picked Filmington is because he throws like a girl, and I just thought it'd be funny to see him like, and obviously he can't hit. He can't even swing a bat. He can't even hit the toilet bowl when he pees, so he can't even handle any bat. But DH, I'm having Aaron Davis to make up for the lack of, you know, card knowledge that Filming doesn't have, because he only knows modern and what he flips. But Aaron Davis will fill in the gap as DH for Filmington. And for catcher, the first name that came into my head was Rick Oddball Cards. And like I said, I just said first name, no matter what, I'm gonna put it in. And the only reason every time, I'm sorry, no disrespect, but every time I think of oddball cards, I think about oddballs. Like either you have one or three. So this is X-rated. I don't know. I pictured in my head, he's playing in chaps, and he has his 3 dingleberries hanging, and he just lets 1 hang for the fastball, 2 for the curve, 3 for the screwball. It's just, I don't know. I'm a sick individual, and I'm sorry. All right. But for first base, first person that came into my mind was Hitman 23, because he's a big Don Mattingly, and that's Don Mattingly's position. So Hitman 23 at first. Second base, first guy that came to me was Vintage Card Steve. Simply because he's a big Cubs collector, and Ryan Sandberg and Ernie Banks just popped into my head, and Vintage Card Steve popped into my head. Number 3, obviously Wade Boggs fan 23. Because he's a Wade Boggs collector, third baseman also. First person that popped into my head. And at shortstop, I got Lou Rock TV, who popped into my head because he's one of the not too many people that super collects Gleyber Torres, which also Spidey Man does also. In left field, I got Tops 85401 because of Barry Bonds. Center field, I got John Mangini because he's a Joe DiMaggio homer. Just kidding. Right field, I got Rude Dog 21 because of Roberto Clemente. For trainer, I got Mr. Fisher Bike for like the team trainer that goes through the exercises and all that stuff. And for team doctor, Blue Jacket 66, obviously. For scouting talent, I picked Vintage Sanctuary because he has such a great collection, and he just started out. He's like a great scout. He knows how to look for that gem. For mascot, the first thing that popped into my head was the Philly Fanatic, and when I think of Philly, I think Maiko. For team owner, like I said, first thing that popped into my head was Sports Card Investor. I don't really watch the guy or anything. But the reason that just came into my head was just because like so many team owners, they own the team because they made money. They made their money elsewhere, but they don't really know how to run the team, but they think they do. Team historian, I picked Splendid Cards because I thought he did a great job defending Mickey Mantle, and he's not a homer. You know what I mean? He's just not like, just thinks Mickey Mantle is the best thing in the world. He'll give an explanation of why. I just picked him for team historian. And for announcer calling the game, I picked a come up egg. Obviously, one of the greatest voices on YouTube. And in LA, we have, other languages, people calling the games in other languages. So in Spanish, first guy that came into my head was Fernando, my childhood collectibles. All right. And for the Japanese translation, I picked JP Wisco. For ticket sales, I got Snoop. I don't know why, but, Snoop is a fisherman. And, I just reel him in, man. Ticket sales. I don't know why. But Snoop is my ticket sales, in charge of ticket sales. And for food concessions, I got the Taco Bowl King, Ed Wesker. So Ed's going to have all these taco bowls all over the stadiums that everybody's going to love. For my cameraman, I got Baseball Collector, because I believe his dad was a cameraman, right? And operating the screen, a Dodger is called Dodger Vision, so I don't know if we'll call this Batu Vision. But for operating my Dodger Vision, I picked Jeff Airtime because he knows how to have a great time, and he'll handle that job perfectly. Running my team store, I got Double D Vintage, so I think will do great in the sales. For head of security, I picked Don's Field of Dreams because that's a big vato right there. For team photographer, I got Reindeer Studios, man, who I'm sure could take some great photographs and knows exactly what to look for with that art involved. For Bat Boy, the reason my Bat Boy I picked right away, came into my head, was Picker Jim S. And I know what people think, like, hey, he's too old to be a Bat Boy. It was like, the thing is, all these, like the Bat Boys that have been working at Dodger Stadium, they started when I started, like over 20 years ago. So we call them Batmen. We don't call them Bat Boys. We call them Batmen because they're not kids anymore. But that job pays so good and the perks are so awesome. They're never going to quit. They're going to be there till they retire. And for the clubbies, these are the people that take care of the uniforms and the cleats and get all the stuff ready and feed the people. Feed us, too. I picked Elite Card Hunter just because he reminds me, when I see him out one of the clubbies at Dodger Stadium, just reminds me of Elite Card Hunter. And Victor, the Rookie Card Specialist. All right. For promoter, doing the giveaways and promotions to get the fans in, I picked Shoebox Legends. All right. I just think he'd be great for that job. For the guy that came into my head. And for team chaplain, obviously running the services for religious purpose, is none other than Legends Never Die. So, like I said, man, I just try to fill in this page. And I know I left a lot of people out, but sorry. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. All right, guys. So, there's my video response for Mr. Fisher Bike. Hashtag MFB1K contest. All right, guys. Hopefully, we get some people to enter this contest. Man, I remember when I first started doing my YouTube stuff, and when I was like a year into it, people were telling me, you should stop doing response videos because they don't get a lot of views. I was like, I don't care. I do it to support my community, yes, all right? So love the hobby. Just keep collecting baseball cards forever, yes, support this great card community that we have. Love the hobby. Ciao! The Mexican Hillbilly.